Hey, you guys! Welcome to Vaginal Fantasy. Vaginal Fantasy is a book club where me and my three amazing co-hosts discuss a romance or genre book, romance/genre book, every single month. We also have an amazing forum at goodreads.com/vaginal fantasy where we discuss more books of that kind. And to introduce I'm not on it today. I got a samurai top knot going on. And I'm an F. I just don't care. Okay, I got 2 hours sleep. I'm tired, and I'm very pale. What's going on, Kyla? What is the deal with Portland? Why is it burning up?
I don't know, and I'm terrified. I'm afraid that are the wheels on our car going to melt, or are we all going to spontaneously combust? Should I dig a hole and put me and the baby in it? I don't know.
Why would you put your baby in the hole?
Well, with me. I mean, I don't want to go alone. I don't know how. I'm just scared of the extreme heat. I mean, 112 degrees.
Wow. I know, but there's no global warming because
that's a hoax.
Yeah, that's totally normal for Portland. Totally.
It's totally normal.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever. Well, we're gonna all burn together, and there'll be no food supply, and we'll be, disaster. It's fine. Bonnie Burton and Veronica Belmont, who usually both come from San Francisco, but Bonnie's the only San Francisco in here.
Yeah, I mean, just so you know, there's fog as usual in our summer. Our summers are reversed from everybody else. So San Francisco's really cold in the summer, and everyone else is having heat. Though we've been having like 70-degree weather during the day, but then the fog rolls in. So
everyone hates you right now. Not hate you.
We pay for our fog. It's really expensive to live here, so don't even.
Expensive fog. And then Veronica, where are you coming from? Where are you hailing, lady?
I'm in the Couve.
No.
Don't call it that. Don't call it that. You told me to call it that.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't call it that.
Don't call it that.
Because that's Vancouver, Washington. And
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
It's a different one.
Yeah. Thanks. It's a different
Are you here for fun? Veronica, are you shooting a TV show?
No, I don't do that anymore. I am here just for being here. I'm remote working this week, and it's a long story. Ryan, my husband's business partner, lives here half the year, and so they wanted to work together in person, and so I just kind of followed them and decided to work remotely for the week.
Ooh, are you having a good time?
Yeah, the food here is amazing.
I know. The salmon is like, when I go there,
oh, dude,
I eat so much salmon. I'm like a bear.
Yeah, I have a lot. It's sockeye right now, so all the sockeye is everywhere, and it's just like nom, 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 nom. It's like I don't like fish really, but like that is I've been eating the sockeye salmon. It's been really good.
I would live there in a second, I think, especially now.
Yeah, it's a cool city. I mean, it's got a lot of the same issues I think San Francisco does in many ways, but it's so beautiful, and the nature is incredible, and the scenery is gorgeous, and yeah, the food is amazing.
Did you go hiking? Did you go to the park and everything?
I did, yeah. I went hiking. I did the Cedar Summit on Sunday, so that was like a 3-hour hike. That was pretty vertical. And then I haven't done the grouse grind. I think we're going to skip that this time because that hike was
really intense.
Yeah, it's supposed to be
way too intense.
And then I've ridden bikes around Stanley Park. I rented a bike for the week, so I've been biking everywhere. It's such a bike-friendly city. Like, I'm terrified to bike in San Francisco, and Vancouver's just like, I have an entire street to myself on a bike. I have a bike lane that cars can't go on. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Anyway, I got nothing. Guys, look at me. I got a samurai. I look like a drunk samurai. I don't care.
It's good. I'm drinking a local beer. I'm drinking Steamworks Stout, and they didn't have a good glass for stout, so I'm drinking in some kind of wine goblet.
That's very fancy. That's a beautiful, modern. What are you drinking, Bonnie?
I'm drinking, I had this in my refrigerator for a while. It's Kendall Jackson Vintage Reserve Riesling. I like Rieslings to drink like during the show rather than a red, because then I get red teeth if I do that. But anyway, it's in my giant wine glass. So, and I started a little early, so I might be a little more giggly than usual.
I'm so jealous. Kyla, what are you drinking? Tang as usual? No.
Because I'm not drinking hard liquor. So this is just rosé from a box. I've been
are those mussels? What's on the bottom of those mussels?
No, then I put it into a mason jar with a lot of ice and a bunch of blueberries. And then you get to the bottom, and then you eat the blueberries, and they're delicious.
I love drunken fruit.
Wow, I feel like you're drinking a Pinterest idea.
Yeah.
That's totally right.
Or their toes or something. I'm drinking water because my acid reflux is so bad now that I have to get in another endoscopy, and I'm worried. But here's the problem. It's so bad that I had to quit coffee again. Even decaf I had to quit.
No.
And then I had to stop sugar, which for 2 days has been really bad because I was a sugar addict. And then now I'm having panic attacks at night because I think that I have stomach cancer because my stomach hurts and my throat hurts so badly. So then I get more of it, and then I look at my baby and cry.
No.
You have acid reflux. You don't have cancer. I mean, if it makes you feel any better, a lot of cancers you don't feel.
Yeah, usually don't.
But that's nice. Thank you, Bonnie.
But also,
Bonnie, don't say that shit.
Sorry.
I also have just gone through this, and I am now occasionally having the acid reflux. But I went through the whole thing with I've been nauseous and vomiting.
Oh, yeah.
And so we went through, and I was just terrified. I was doing the same thing. I'm like, I obviously have pancreatitis or cancer of the pancreas or kidney disease or liver failure or cancer of the liver or something. I'm going to die. And then I would look at my baby and cry. And then, and then it turns out it's just, I have a gallstone.
Oh,
so I have to have my gallbladder out.
good. That's getting your gallbladder out is great. Ann Wheaton did it, and she said it was the best thing.
Really?
I'm now Rachel Benoit in the thing said she had a horrible acid reflux for years and found out she had celiacs.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wonder if that could be it. I don't know. I haven't tried to stop wheat because I'm like, if I have to stop sugar and anything greasy and onions and garlic and tomato and chocolate, I feel dead inside anyway. So I don't want to give up bread, but I might need to do that.
I mean,
I had to do the fun elimination diet thing when I was having, I'm trying to figure out was it my migraines or was it my acid reflux too? I can't remember.
I did the elimination diet, and that's why I know I can't have red peppers anymore or avocado. Any onions or garlic has always been a problem, but now
Well, shit, Lisa, you know what that means, don't you?
what?
If you can't eat avocado, you have to move out of California.
I know.
Like you aren't allowed legally to stay here.
No, yeah.
Huh. I should probably just get out now. And I love it so
too bad.
much.
That's
Well,
too
actually, I discovered it was a horrible thing because I went to Vancouver to work on Supernatural all the time. And all I would do is have salmon rolls with avocado. And I would wake up in the morning and have to go to work. And I'd be like, what's wrong with my face and my voice? And I discovered that it's not a common acid reflux thing, but it is. And then, guys, this is a really long story, but because she cut out gluten and the reflux stopped immediately. Well, Rachel, maybe I'll try. So here's its true story. When I was pregnant, my acid reflux got so much better that I just ate burgers and ate chocolate chips cookies the whole time.
Mine was the opposite.
I know, it's supposed to be the opposite. I know that, Kyla, but mine was cured. So then I didn't adjust my diet. And then I don't think my stomach settled back down from being shoved up into my throat. But then also I accidentally ordered a pizza with Nduja, which is a weird spicy Calabrian chili meat paste. And I accidentally ate it because I didn't know what it was. I thought it was just like a sauce or something. And I had such bad stomach ache that I had to go to the, I almost went to the ER. And I think I got gastritis from that.
oh my God.
So everything is messed up in my body. And I'm on antacids, which I hate. It's fine. Anyway, Rachel might have.
I feel like our show has turned into
No,
still fantasy club.
And also, this is making me. But I'm enjoying it because I've been going through the same thing for so long.
There's a lot of people in chat who have acid reflux. Listen, guys, elimination diet. What you do is you have rice and yellow lentils and maybe some kale. And then you just do that cooked, always eat an oatmeal and stuff, and then do it for 2 weeks and then start adding things in. That's how I discovered sugar was really one of my worst things, which I hate giving up.
Ian Albert just said, you're all making me sad that you're all slowly dying.
Oh,
Guess what, Ian? You're all slowly dying.
We are all slowly dying.
I mean, I have a problem with my thyroid that my doctor wants me the meds I need, but I eat everything. So
We're all slowly dying. Some of us just fart more on the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's fun when they do that whole metabolic thing, and then you get to see, and you're and it comes in slowly. If you're on Kaiser, you get the test results, and
Yeah.
I was getting them in the ER before the doctor came in. So I'd get the result, and then I'd Google it.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'm like, okay, yes, I don't have diabetes. Okay.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I was excited about.
I don't have thyroid
So,
problem.
it's sad when you go for a checkup and you're just so excited you don't have diabetes that you kind of forget about all the other bad stuff. You're just like, thank God it's not diabetes, and it's just
Yeah.
high
Well-
cholesterol and high stress. I could deal with those too, but diabetes, no.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really tough, man. Your health is your most important thing. Nothing's more important,
And
guys.
it sucks,
Public
the
service
older you
announcement.
get, the less fun stuff you get to do as far as food and alcohol. And I'm gonna do it till I die. So
Oh yeah, I can't have alcohol either. Like life is, I mean, for many reasons. Life is just as pale as my face. Anyway, we're just talking
yeah,
about this.
Just one thing I was just gonna say,
Oh, yeah.
I got the gallstone from being pregnant. So
Oh,
thanks, baby. So not
it's your
only
baby's fault.
is my back totally fucked up, my I have to get my gallbladder out because that cute baby.
But you know what? You're going to be so happy. Then you can eat anything. Jessica Crawford said she got gestational diabetes. That's terrible.
Oh yeah, I heard that. Yeah, that didn't.
But here's the thing, you have more fuel for when your kid acts up. You can remind them constantly the pain you went through to just give them life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ian is asking how many getting a million calories. Well, I eat a lot of nuts and I have a lot of eggs. And I mean, actually, I can eat a lot of fish. Rice, although now I found out rice has arsenic in it.
What?
So you're not supposed to eat it every day or you're going to get organic arsenic levels in your blood.
If that level of arsenic is in rice, half of Asia would be wiped out. That's not accurate. There's stuff in
Okay.
all of our food. There's stuff in all of our food. So just keep in mind there's certain things. There's cyanide in apples. Like
That's true. Well, if you eat the seeds.
Yeah, but if you eat a whole,
Oh, really? Really?
yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
like cyanide
God.
in apple seeds.
So
It's just a little bit of cyanide. You're fine.
You're
You've been
fine.
eating apples your entire life. You're fine. You're not dead of cyanide.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. And honestly, like a little bit of arsenic's not going to kill you. Maybe it's going to make you like Rasputin. So when someone tries to poison you with arsenic, you're
I'll be immune.
You'll
because
be
I don't worry
immune.
about it.
Yeah. I'm immune to iocane. Wait,
Everybody's like, this episode is birth control. Okay, it's
I love
true,
it.
but
I
the
love it.
baby's
I
kind of
love
worth it.
powder.
The baby's worth it. She's so cute. Oh my God.
Oh my
Anyway,
God,
okay,
you're so cute.
both of your babies could be baby models. You should like get them on payroll quick.
Never. Not going to be an actor. Okay, guys, we read a book this month, and we have a lot to talk about.
Okay.
Yeah,
ready.
but let me do a little local meetup shout it. So, first of all, thanks to Sean Sandalukaluk, who monthly puts together the show notes that saves my life and makes this a much better hangout for it. So thank you, Sean. He's an author himself. Check out his own vaginal fantasy that he wrote, The Zookeeper's Wife, Daughter, Zookeeper something. It I need to read that. I am sorry. I am so behind.
It's good.
I'm flooded with
It's really good.
Yay! Well, so guys, check it out. But he very nicely puts together all the show notes, and he lists all the local hangouts. If you go to goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy, we have a dozen or so local meetups that meet either in person or online to discuss this book or other books that we're rereading or books of their own. So giving a shout out to them. The Central European Tarts met in Europe in a Google Hangout. The Yearning Yinzers met in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Wanton Wisconsinites met in Milwaukee.
That's a great name. I love it.
I love it. In Milwaukee, the Beers, Books, and Boobs met in Jackson, Michigan. The Frugal Fannies is a new one. That would met in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You guys are up in that. Viking Booties, one of our regular groups, met in Sweden Google Hangout. And as usual, the Cleft of Shadow, our vaginal fantasy kind of unofficial WoW guild, met in Area 52 in Azeroth. They're meeting tonight. They meet an hour before the hangouts. So you guys, if you guys want to start WoW, that would be the best place to start.
I love
here's
in WoW. That's my favorite thing.
right. I wonder if they stay in WoW and watch in WoW because that would be super fun. Anywho, all right, guys, here's the book, and I picked it, and you could talk to me about it. So,
Okay, go ahead.
but let me just read the description, then we're going to start with you, Veronica.
So I don't have the
me,
cover.
okay.
I don't have the cover because it's digital.
Oh, okay. So I'll just
Okay.
read it.
Wants
Okay.
to hold up an iPad cover, go for it, but I don't have it.
I don't have. Okay, so it's fine. At any price, Gaming the System #1 by Brena Aubrey. Achievement unlocked, Geek Virgin. When Mia Strong, proud geek girl and popular gaming blogger, auctions off her virginity online, she knows she'll make waves, but what she will not be making is a love connection. Her rules are set in stone. One night, No further contact. It's a desperate step, but it's the only way she can go to medical school and pay her mother's mounting hospital bills. Difficulty level, millionaire CEO. Adam Drake, the enigmatic auction winner, is a software prodigy who made his first million at 17. Now in his mid-20s, he's sexy, driven, and as CEO of his own gaming company, he's used to making the rules. Before Mia knows what happens, he found the loophole in the rules of her auction. Every stipulation she's made to protect her heart gets tossed by the wayside. She can't tell if he's playing her or he's playing for keeps. All right. There it is. Okay. So I picked this book just to say I picked it because we have never done a contemporary romance, and I felt with the geek girl bent, it would be very interesting. And then it was free too, you guys. So I thought,
free's good.
Hey, yeah. So anyway, Veronica, I want you to go first. What did you think at any price?
It was like, all right, so I'll say I liked it in spite of itself, if that makes sense.
That is exactly how I felt. I really do.
So for one thing, felt a little too close to home. Haven't auctioned off my virginity, but just like all the stuff in the book, I was like, oh, this is too much like my life was. Like, this is like this was like the closest a book, I think, maybe just like a book period has ever been to like my actual life, or at least a life I used to have. And so it was
Did you
like
auction off your virginity? I
said no to that part. I literally started this diatribe with saying I have not auctioned off my virginity.
I was coughing.
It's okay.
Give examples, like what were some of the parallels that you saw in the book to your previous life?
Well, so I used to work in games journalism, and so and I play, obviously, I started like one of the largest World of Warcraft guilds like in North America. Like I've played World of Warcraft for over 10 years. Like that's one of the reasons why Felicia and I became friends. Mm-hmm. You know, like it's just like, and also I work in tech. And so like, I'm very familiar with this kind of dude, like these kinds of people. And so it was just like, everything was a little bit like, oh, or like, oh, this makes me uncomfortable. Like, oh. But it was like, at the same time, they did that whole trope of like, oh, I don't know if like he really likes me. We're God, this stout is really strong. It was like they did that like back and forth that always drives me nuts. Like, will there, won't they? And like, oh, he like gets really stressed out at the last second. And I don't know, like sometimes Mia was super annoying and that kind of drove me nuts. And sometimes he was a little overwrought and that kind of drove me nuts. But like, it was still kind of cute in a way, and I still enjoyed it and definitely like wanted to read it. So like, I don't know, like I didn't hate it. I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was a little trite, maybe a little uncomfortable in parts because of the closeness to the real world. Didn't have that fantastical element to it that usually takes us out of that kind of feeling a little bit, but you know, it was fun. It was okay. Tunes were pretty good.
Okay. No, it's fair. It's fair. I'm going to go and then I'll listen. I read some of the comments on the forum and, you know, there were a lot of strong feelings about this one. And I was like, oh, no, I feel really bad. And I read it in like 2 days. And I have to say that it was not nearly as bad as I thought that people were going to. There
was definitely some problematic elements. Like
yes, I would say
the whole conceit of the story is like super problematic.
Super problematic that a woman and I liked how she tried to sell it as like I'm liberated and I'm, you know, taking hold of my virginity. That analogy didn't quite go as far. I mean, it did not succeed in convincing me that it's a liberated thing to be able to do something like that. I mean, I agree with you. I felt like there was a lot of people were like, oh, I'm questioning this geek credibility. I felt like it was very credible. Like, obviously, I felt like this author is of the world. Even though when Mia did not know what 20-sided dice and stuff or D&D dice were, I was like, bitch, you need to know that. Like I was really up in arms about that. But you know, I can't say that I hated the book. It definitely was. It felt like it did use sort of a very formulaic structure for writing a romance novel, and she was like, I'm just going to put a twist on it, and I'm going to put it into the gamer world, which I thought was a very clever thing. And I feel like it felt like an early book of an author, but I do feel like there was some really nice prose, and I did like the way she wrote. It's just maybe you're right. It's a little too close to home, and Mia was annoying a lot, and Adam was. I could not stand him sometimes, and then I was like, oh, I know this guy.
Right. It's
a lot.
Yeah. And also, I mean, the twist was obvious from like
very obvious.
Clearly. And there was something else I was going to say too, and now I can't remember.
It was very stalky. Like I felt uncomfortable because I've known people like that who actually do that stuff, but it's not cute. It's not cute and sexy when people are stalking you in game and they know where you live and they buy you clothes and stuff. That's not cute, guys. So that made me uncomfortable.
Like the beginning, the first time we meet Adam, it's like, oh, is this going to be like a Christian Grey like scenario? Like he was being like a dick, and it was like, oh god.
That was the worst part. That was literally the worst scene in the whole book. That was the worst scene in the whole book because I was like, that actually seemed out of character to me.
Yeah.
So, anyway, okay, let's talk about Bonnie and Kyla, and then we'll come back to because clearly we have a lot of feelings. Bonnie.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty close to home for me in a way. I mean, I'm not a gamer, but I write in that world. So I write a lot of tech and gaming journalism for CNET and for other places as well. And so there were elements there, much like with Veronica, where I was just like, this is a little too real. I had a problem with the whole concept of why anyone on Earth that is not of a certain maybe religious background that would want to sleep with someone and take their virginity away, because that's not good sex. It's painful. They don't know what they're doing to you, so you have to be like the person that knows everything. And then also there's like this weird sense of a Wookiee life debt. Whenever you take someone's virginity away, they treat you like they owe you forever. And I realize there's a financial element to this, a completely illegal financial element to this. But I guess that's sort of the fantasy part of this book, is that you have to ignore all legal issues with what would happen. And also you kind of have to ignore all human trafficking situations, which was hard for me to do with this book. I don't find virgins sexy. I'm not saying that if you're a virgin, it's bad. That's your choice. And that's totally, I get it. And I understand it. And to tell you the truth, like not having sex, I don't think it's that big a deal anymore. But to like sell it off is problematic to me, and also why anyone would want to sleep with a virgin seems weird to me. So I guess I just don't understand the appeal of taking someone's virginity away.
I know. It's a piece of skin that's in an area, and then it's gone.
I mean, I guess
really.
The only real benefit it is, if you're the one taking the virginity, is they have no basis to tell whether or not you're good at sex or not. So if you're really bad in bed,
that's interesting. I never thought of that.
Right? So if you're really crappy at sex, then I guess having sex with virgins is like the only way you're ever gonna look good.
Yeah.
Because it's like no one has any comparison model. But I don't know. I just found I've taken some virginities away, and it's not recently. God, I'm not.
She's just got a full deck of V cards.
No, like in high school and college, I was the one that people went to, and I mean, I don't know why, but I guess I attracted that. They felt comfortable around me, but I hated it because then it was like they wanted a massive relationship, and at that time in my life, I was not equating sex with we're soulmates. So
I got this picture of Bonnie like leaning up against a locker, like with her like Betty Page hairdo, smoking a cigarette, and some like skinny little nerd comes up and is like, "Excuse me, Miss Burton," and she's like, "All right, kid, let's go.
Get in the back. Get in the locker room.
Let's get out of here."
Surprisingly,
oh my god,
I would flirt with someone and then find out at a crucial moment, oh, by the way, they're a virgin, and I didn't know. I guess, okay, well, we're already halfway there. Like, it was like, I guess we'll continue. But I felt like I had to, like, read a book on therapy just to, like, ease them into the fact that just because you sleep with someone does not mean.
They both needed to go to therapy, and after a couple years, they'd both be much better people for each other and for the world. That is true.
I've had somebody hate me because I didn't like get into a massive relationship with them after sex, and I felt horrible, but that I just wasn't ready. But to me, it's like that's what virginity means to me, when you take someone's virginity. And I don't even remember how I got rid of my virginity. I'm sure it was consensual, but it was like I didn't know what I was doing, and I think they didn't know what they were doing. So it was just sort of like a mishmash of, I guess we're not virgins anymore. And it wasn't some big thing. There wasn't like butterflies released. It wasn't like I felt like a woman finally. It wasn't anything like that. And also, I didn't even think to auction it off because, let's be honest, the guys who would be buying that are probably really skeevy, horrible guys that go to strip joints and like go to strip joints with barely legal girls in them. You know what I mean? They're not going to be hot CEOs of gaming divisions. I mean, that's the problem too with women who look at the sex industry like Pretty Woman.
Mm-hmm.
The majority of the guys that are getting hookers aren't getting hookers. They don't look like Richard Gere. They are guys that.
Well, but I don't think he established as someone who used prostitutes a lot, or he was basically saving her because he was her friend.
Yeah.
And he was in love with her anyway, right?
What he was trying to do.
I mean,
Save her virtue.
I'm just talking about from her perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Like, if you're auctioning off your virginity, no, you may not get.
Yeah, she was real choosy. I was like, okay, lady. I mean, you seem like maybe a 7 or an 8. You're really.
Oh, shit.
Hey, I consider myself a 6, so that's my. I mean,
no,
Oh my god.
Here comes the internet to tell you you're stupid.
no, come on.
Like you're in if you like got an escort from a catalog, you would be in the gold section.
No, I live in LA. Are you kidding?
No, you would not be in the cheap seats. You would not be the
Thank
frugal. By the way, I love Frugal Fannies as a name for a Vag fan group. I think that's hilarious.
Frugal Fannies is really good. That could be like a shopping group.
It's such a nice way to call cheap ass.
Yeah.
I love it. Anyway.
All right. Okay, let's talk to Kyla and then we'll go because there's a lot of really interesting. All the guys on our blog label her as an 8. She said 8 is good. Anywhere from a 6 to an 8. You don't want to be a 9 or a 10. Those. First of all,
That's a lot of pressure.
it's a lot of pressure. Second of all, you never get to develop to be interesting because everyone's always like, oh, how pretty is or handsome is that person?
Yeah.
3, once your looks start to fade, your whole core erodes. And believe me, I'm in LA. I see that a lot. So better to be lower on that scale, which is probably mid-range. Yeah. Anyway, okay, listen. Let's talk to Kyla first. Kyla, what did you think? And then we're going to go about the characters and talk about the gaming and then all this stuff.
Okay. Well, first of all, it's really weird because I, for some stupid reason, read this book. I was like, I'm going to read a YA book. And so I read this one called it's just a regular teen romance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was not exactly lying. And basically it's this girl who loves to play some MMO game, it's a shooter game, and with like a bunch of guys, and she drinks a bunch of Mountain Dew, of course, and she's all cool, and her name is Valkyrie. And but then when she goes to school, everybody thinks she's like really stupid and dumb, and but it turns out she's also gorgeous, and she's in love with one of the guys that she plays with. And she knows who he is. He's a quarterback at the high school. And it's very similar to the
wow,
book
that's really interesting.
Yeah. So it's so it was kind of freaking me out. But also, so I felt like they were similar characters. Like this girl didn't know if she was pretty or not. She's just like, Mm-hmm. And some kind of stereotypical. She's a gamer girl, but it bothered me that she didn't know what
that's
what WoW was, what Dungeons and Dragons was, she wasn't aware of anything else.
It was just weird. That was weird. That just felt like
game.
She was so illiterate in like Lord of the Rings and
yeah.
I mean, there's so many other references.
But like all that's tied in together. Like you don't just. I feel like you don't just learn one of those things and not be aware of any of the others.
Like, you could be like, I'm not into it.
It's part of the culture. Yeah, you cannot be into it, but you
would know what a dice was. But you know what? Maybe an editor was like, oh, you're too inside now. People aren't going to know what D&D dice are.
I could see an editor taking out all these key insider things because they don't want to narrow down the audience. Like that's an editor move in a book.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what they did for Ready Player One too.
Well,
no.
I One's a different honor, Tyler. Ready Player One wasn't a romance. I hate to break it to you.
So, anyways, I was annoyed by that. I was also annoyed by the selling her virginity idea as an empowerment thing, because there was a girl that did that in South America a few years ago, and then there was.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then if you watched Big Little Lies, the daughter was doing the same thing, and they never finished that part up. I guess they will. There's going to be a second season, so they will. But so she was doing that as a project.
Oh, spoiler! I haven't watched that show yet.
Oh well, I didn't tell you anything. It's nothing. Nothing happened, so I don't know. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. I am way past the spoil zone on that one. It's fine.
Okay. But that's I really didn't like it, but I didn't like the other YA book that I read, and I enjoyed reading it, and I also enjoyed reading this one too, even though I didn't like it, and I don't know how to explain that.
Ha!
And also, yeah, it is interesting because yes, I also dabbled in games journalism. Games enthusiast is more what I was, and the tech world, and so it was very familiar to me, and that's why it made me so mad that she was they made some kind of stereotype, and they didn't need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just perpetuating that stereotype.
Well, she did perpetuate a couple. We could talk about that. Like, how did you feel about how the world, because we all are kind of familiar with gaming, some of us more than others, but what did you guys think about the portrayal of the games world and the characters in gaming in this? I mean, the author supposedly is a very big gamer and a Francophile, which I think is kind of funny. But she writes geek romance. So, I mean, what did you guys think about the way that she portrayed it, and did you feel like it was authentic or good, or what were your opinions?
Aside from the not understanding basic there's not a collection of things all geeks need to know about, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's dumb. That's silly.
It's like a litmus test. Like, you don't know about you have to know blah blah blah. No.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there's at least an awareness of these kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I feel like she did kind of get the culture pretty right. I felt like that was beyond just doing surface level research. She clearly understood what it was to be someone who plays video games.
Mm-hmm.
I would say. So that felt pretty realistic. I'd say that.
I felt like it was pretty realistic, except there were two things that I felt kind of offended, but I don't know if I should have been offended because maybe it's true, but maybe it's an ideal that I don't like to highlight. In one instance, she was like, hey, you just have to put your name tag at breast level at Comic-Con and no one would see your face or something like that.
Yes.
And then there was another thing where she was like, if you just dress like a girl in the game, you get all this free stuff. So those two things.
That is true, though.
That is true.
See, I know.
That's true, though, because
I know guys, but it's true.
I know guys that are female characters so they could get free stuff.
But they're both true, but there was something about the way she wrote about it that made it seem like she didn't really stand against it. She made some sort of half-hearted attempt in one of her blogs, but that was it. Yeah. She was just accepting it as that's just how it is.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's not like her blog is from Femme Frequency. She's not Anita. She's not calling out all the sexism.
But she is a woman, so you would think.
Right. But I mean, she's not, I feel like she's more of a G4 type or a Spike TV. I'm not gonna shame.
Oh yeah, let's not get
into the fake girl thing because that's stupid and I don't believe in it, and I don't think there's a Voight comp test for geekdom that proves you're a geek. But I think in this case, it's not like she's the super feminist gaming girl.
You know what? Yeah. I'll take the author more to task on this than Mia herself.
Okay.
If I'm blaming someone, I'm gonna blame the author for that, not Mia. You know what I mean? It felt like that part didn't come from a place of understanding some of the intricacies of working in that world.
I guess it's not fair to male gamers because there's a cliche about male gamers, and believe me, I've encountered it my whole career. That's why I don't do as much gaming stuff now, is because there's a small segment of that But for the vast majority, I have found a lot of male gamers are very respectful. They're, married, they have girlfriends. They're not just there to look at tits and, give free stuff to other girls. Like, so I always see it like that. Like, my experience in gaming is not that sort of cliche that sort of pins gamer guys in a bad position, because it kind of reflects like all gamer guys are like that. I don't find that to be true. And I didn't like that portrayal. Painting them all with the same brush.
Yeah, her portrayal of Adam actually really reminded me of a lot of relationships that I've had with friends in game, like where it feels like you're, I mean, not necessarily like in love with, but you develop like super close bonds based on spending a lot of time together and sharing interests and talking for hours and hours and hours, and not necessarily having those. Well, that's what the guild is about,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Relationships. Yeah.
Really,
I mean,
I'm really sensitive about that.
Yeah. And it's super, I mean, that I think maybe one of the reasons I liked this book so much is because I related so much to that aspect, like feeling like you don't have maybe a ton of people in the real world, but you can log in and the people are going to be there. And, it's special.
Yeah, it is. And actually, I like the idea of them hanging out online. Like, it wasn't that dynamic online of her like hanging out with her friend, her gay friend, who everyone really bashed upon, which I didn't actually have as much of a problem.
I don't think it was a problem with him. It's just that his depiction was like he had all of his friends were gay. It's like all gay people know all gay people. Like it was that weird.
Yeah,
I get that from that one.
Guy, so he has like a plumber.
You didn't talk about his gay. What are you talking about? I don't remember that part.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
It felt a little weird in that retrospect. I don't know. Maybe
I felt something that Tamaranian said earlier, I think, on chat felt more real to me, which is that like he was just like a plot device to enable her prostitution.
Yeah.
Like basically he just figured out how to work around the law to like
he
did a lot of research. He needs to start a business or something.
He's an enabler. Yeah.
He was a pimp. That's what he was.
Oh, apparently he knew a gay banker.
But gay people know other gay people just like they know other straight people. It's not like they didn't assume, oh, that guy's gay. Do you know him? He's Carl. He's gay. Do you know him?
Yeah.
Of course I know him.
And
I wasn't like that.
There is actually, it's like how there's gay Twitter and black Twitter. Yeah, there's a whole community online.
Well,
so there would be in gaming as well.
I'm not saying there's not a community. It's just a little annoying to be like, oh, he's gay. He must know that gay guy. Like, it's like, oh, you're black.
Yeah, we don't all know each other.
Because you're both black. Like, oh, you're a feminist. You must know that other feminist. Like, I mean, that's not quite the same, but still, it's a little contrived. But yeah, it was like instead of the sassy gay friend, he was the sassy gay enabler. So.
Yeah. Well, it's 83 Croissant said it's important we knew his baker friend was gay. All right.
Yeah, okay.
That's fine. Listen, I respect everybody's spectrum on that. I did find him annoying, and Matthew, was it? Somebody brought up they really didn't like him because he sent that email to Adam without talking to her first, which I thought was way overstepping. Like I was like,
that was super shitty.
Friend.
That was super shitty.
Really shitty. I would not be friends with that guy again. Like, listen, you're transacting my hymen. Like, be a little respectful. At least BCC me.
I mean, he didn't just. Yeah, I feel like he hijacked the hymen. He's a hymen hijacker.
You know, it's funny because a similar thing happened in the other YA book.
What?
Yes.
What?
Yes, the guy Quinn. He knew that her one friend at school, because she's the same thing, did not have a lot of friends. These were her friends, online.
You know what? Maybe there might be like a paint, like Save the Cat for like screenwriting is not paint by numbers, but it's like a technique of telling you exactly where to put your plot points.
That's like a
maybe
template.
There's what?
It's a template.
It's a template. Maybe there's a template out there. We should do that. I always thought
there is. Actually, there's a book called Writing Romance for Dummies.
And is that it?
Yep. I read it years ago. I read it when we started this club because I wanted to see, because I wasn't very familiar with romance books. I read a lot of sci-fi and horror and fantasy, but not romance of that. And I wanted to see, are romance books as templated as possible? And I also downloaded the Harlequin Romance Writer's Guidelines. And there is a very distinct template that you have to follow for these books to be published, unless you self-publish or whatever.
Yeah.
work with
It's interesting. Yeah, because it was like, oh, the requisite, he goes down on her and they don't really penetrate. Oh,
Yeah.
that's, in a certain page.
And
count.
also sex in YA romance books is there's a fine line of what you can and cannot imply and say in young adult books. Even if there's a romantic sexual relationship, there's certain things that you can never say, but you can say obviously in more adult books. So it's very, maybe for the next, maybe I'll go and start a thread on a Goodreads and I'll explain some of the template suggestions and people can say whether or not they notice that in all the books that we read. Because it's almost like screenwriting. When you learn how to do screenwriting, then when you watch movies, you're like, oh, it's that beat, that's supposed to happen.
And there's nothing wrong with structure if you just hide it, there's nobody's reinventing the wheel when they make something, but it's also, how are you doing it in a fresh way along the thing that the audience is.
You also want your twists to actually be not so predictable. And I found that some of the stuff in this book was a little too.
Yeah. I wonder if, okay, so she wrote 6 books on these same people.
Yeah.
Book 6 is their wedding. And I'm like, what happened between 1 and 6?
Wow. Well, there's a breakup. In book 3, there's got to be this massive breakup.
Well, book 2 is the same book, just done from Adam's point of view. And then book 3 is something, and then somehow they get into his brother, who's a virgin, so it's a male virgin thing.
Oh, by the way, can we talk about the tattoo? The dead sister tattoo. Why did that make her horny? That's not a horny thing. Why? I didn't understand that. He's revealing something very personal. I guess maybe his vulnerability turned her on, but it was that was a little.
I don't know.
I thought her oh, this isn't some other chick you want to bone. Turned her on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess but still, that was a little weird.
Yeah. Everyone says that the 2 of the books are other couples. What did you guys think about Adam's character? Was he, Veronica, tech guys the most. What did you think about him as a character? Was he accurate to the sort of Silicon Valley gamer guy?
Did you think he was a Christian, a Christian Grey Elon Musk type, or what did you?
No, Elon Musk is way too dorky. It's not even, I don't know.
Well, he goes through women pretty quickly too, though. So
he does.
Dating this, whatever.
Yeah, he's not his third wife, so he's dating Amber Heard.
I know Amber Heard. She's a hot mess. I heard.
He's dating Amber Heard now.
Yeah,
that seems like a bad idea.
Let's put a pin in it for a minute. I wanted to really root for Amber Heard because she stood up to Johnny Depp publicly about being, about
nobody knows what really happens. I objectively don't like either of them.
Okay. So, and also, by the way, they're both kind of messed up. So who knows? Yeah. Who knows what happens behind closed doors? But the video that was revealed was revealing about how abusive he gets when he's drunk. And not that that's an excuse, but I'm glad that she went public with that because at least it started the dialogue again about domestic abuse and how you shouldn't just put up with it and blah, blah, blah. However, Elon Musk is also notoriously known for being a control freak with his former wife, Justine, and another former wife, Tallulah. And he is very controlling, extremely.
That's what Adam said all the time. I'm in control. I'm in control. I'm like, you know what? I kind of liked you until you're a dick. And it's the equivalent of you're mine. I'm in control.
Yeah.
It was even more irritating.
A healthy relationship, I think, should be a little bit more balanced than that. So I just don't think Amber upgraded. I think she went to just a different kind of control freak, a different kind of maybe emotional abuse versus verbal, but whatever. I'm not her.
I don't know him personally. I don't know anything about his relationship, so I'm not going to judge him on that.
No. I mean, I didn't date him. I don't know personally. I just know his former wife, so that's,
You know her personally?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And also, if you read she did a great Vanity Fair article about what their relationship was like.
But are you saying that? So you consider that the controlling? You consider this maybe an interesting amalgamation of a bunch of different characters that could be true.
Yeah, with this character in this book, I find very controlling men that are used to getting their way and aren't necessarily open to suggestion and open to an equality type of relationship isn't a healthy relationship.
Okay.
And I know that that's very 50 Shades, and that's also very succumbing to a more powerful person and blah 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 blah. So I just felt that to be, it's not, clearly this book is not 50 Shades of Gaming. You know, it's not that.
No, thank God. I would have not liked it nearly as much as if it.
Yeah, but there are elements where it's like she doesn't really know what she wants, and she's submissive, and she dates somebody or she gets involved with someone who's very controlling, but he's messed up, and then her magical vagina fixes everything, and that is a trope in this type of book series. So.
Can we talk about pool sex and then shower sex? Like, that is very uncomfortable.
It's not good. You know,
I don't like pool sex.
One doesn't.
Pool sex is gross.
It doesn't.
Pool sex is really awful.
It doesn't feel good. And then shower sex is just. It's like somebody's always cold, and you don't get clean.
No.
Obviously. And it's just stupid.
Sort of do. You have the soap right there, so you.
And then it stings. You get it in your vagina and it stings, and you're like, "This is awful."
Glycerin soap.
Yeah. Like
Bonnie, I should have gotten your tips.
Well, yeah. I mean, don't use
shower sex tips.
Don't use your super perfumey clove hippie soap. I mean, no.
But it still stings like right after, like immediately afterwards. And really, in order to get clean after sex, you'd want him to leave so that you could like get the shower head and do the whole.
Oh, okay, so I don't mind swimming pool sex because I feel like the chlorine's gonna kill anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm against lake sex and.
Oh, lake sex is you get an amoeba up there, and then
you're like
alien baby.
In your body.
It's like it becomes group sex with you, the person, and a bunch of fish. Like that's not.
Oh, by the way, I got a dick pic today randomly. Do people really just send a dick pic like, "Hey, baby"? Okay, this is really what happened, you guys. I got around 2 p.m. I was like, "Hey, baby, you ready for sexy times tonight?" Winky smile, and I thought it was one of the Vaginal Fantasy ladies. I literally was like, "Oh, did somebody get a new phone?" And then a minute later, I get a picture of a very uncomfortable picture. So then 3 hours later, he's like, "Hey, we still up for tonight?" I'm like, "How do you not? Did somebody give them my phone number accidentally, or what happened? And why would you?"
Wrong number. That's a wrong number.
You should double check before you send the picture.
You would think so, but people who send dick pics are not that smart.
I don't know. Anyway, okay, we have some really good questions that Sean Sandalooky has compiled for us. 1, if you had made your fortune at 17, what would you have done with it, and do you think you have any of it left now?
No. I would have no money left. Are you kidding? I mean, I was here at the beginning of the .com boom in the 90s. And I think I was worth $1.5 million on paper.
Jesus, Bonnie?
Yeah, wow. It was money that I couldn't get out of stocks though. It was only in stocks.
Oh.
And then the crash happened, and then that quickly turned to like $5 or something. So, but I was friends with quite a few people that made a lot of money in their 20s, and now they're back to like 9-to-5 jobs in their 40s because they didn't
really.
They didn't invest wisely, or they spent it all on partying, or they spent it all on bad investments or bad real estate or whatever. And they just don't have the money anymore. Because when you're that young and you have money, you don't think to save it. You don't think to open multiple IRAs. You don't think to like.
That's stupid. You should.
But seriously,
you should.
At that age, all you want to do is party and go to as many strip clubs and like do stripper suits or whatever.
I wouldn't.
I spend too much money on poke, and then I have to save for my kids' private school. Those are the only things I spend.
Yeah, but if you were in your 20s,
I spend all my money on food.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Food, I know, food it is. And I just really think back, I'm like, okay, are you okay with spending all this money in your life on food? Because it's probably my primary expense, because I don't spend a lot of money on anything else, clothes or even travel or whatever.
Hey girls, I'm super casual over here.
I know, look at you, that one thing, man. But I'm like,
you look like a Tinder photo that's gone live.
They should have sent you that dick pic. Anyway, but that was like, I'm just really paid to have expensive poops all my life.
Yeah,
like, you know.
Me too. By the way, there's a great show on Showtime called Billions.
Oh, is it good?
It's a little problematic because it's from a hedge funder point of view. It's not necessarily feminist friendly, but there's 2 female characters that are very strong feminist female characters I love. So that's why I continue watching. But it's very interesting to see that world, the hedge fund world, where people spend millions of dollars frivolously because they've got billions of dollars, and it's just interesting.
It's all relative, man.
That's why followers
about that when I was reading this. Well, when I was reading this book, I thought about that. I'm like, I wouldn't, because I come from a very poor background, I was raised very poor. I wasn't even middle class. So when I think of people spending hundreds and hundreds, maybe
No, I know.
dollars,
No, I agree. Like I had Goodwill clothes, so I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I can't. When somebody spends $2,000 on a purse, and I'm just like, they're like, "Do you love my purse?" I'm like, "No, I'm judging you right now."
Yeah.
That's it. Like purses, expensive purses have always been like I don't want to judge, but like I've never been able to spend. Like I've seen a lot of expensive purses I've liked, and then I see the price tag, and I'm like, why would you do that?
I have to admit that I did for my birthday. I got the NASA purse for my birthday.
Oh,
It was too much money, and I was angry. And I was like, I'm going to keep this, even though I would have taken any other
special
purse
to
back.
you. But that's special to you. It's like that was the biggest problem I had with Sex in the City, was that it was a journalist spending all of her money on fucking shoes. And
I know, but people do that all the time. Girls do that all the time, Bonnie.
I know.
Anyway, okay.
I don't get it. Like, yeah, I would have invested, and then I would have traveled, and that's what I would.
Travel's what I spend my money on.
Travel, yeah. I would have bought, if I
And
had made
eaten
a
a lot.
lot of
And
money,
eating.
I would buy a little castle and I would renovate it, and then I would open a cheese stand.
Oh yeah, I would also buy like a villa or something, or like an apartment in Paris, and
Yeah.
then like a villa in Italy, or maybe
It's easy to
something
just
in
Airbnb
Venice or
that
something.
stuff, though, really.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do? I'm gonna buy a
party.
farm. Huh?
I feel like we're at a slumber party. We're all talking about our dream homes.
I'm gonna spend all my money. I'm gonna buy a farm up in Marin,
Oh, nice.
and I'm going to fill it with dogs.
Oh,
I'm gonna rescue all the dogs.
Can I run it for you?
You can come live with me.
Okay.
And
nice.
we're gonna it's gonna be a dog rehabilitation, and like just like have a wonderful time. We're all just having a wonderful time
I
together.
love that. Well, I was going to
That's
rescue
great.
goats in France, so we'll just.
Yes, we can have
Oh.
goats too. We can have
And-
goats too.
I'll have a no-kill cat shelter.
Perfect.
Okay.
We got all the animals.
Basically, we all turned into very rich Dr. Doolittles.
Okay, next question. We have a couple of really good questions I want to get through. If the genders were reversed, would this book have been better?
Yes. Yes, I think so. I think it also.
Well, you know what? Because we didn't like that geek Beauty and the Geek show.
Yeah.
No.
Beauty and the Geek show was awful, and that made
That was-
everyone feel real bad.
That
So
was
I feel like
terrible.
But
Yeah, I
I
don't know if
it
I
would
would
be like
like
that.
both be geeks, but they'd both be geeks. So it wouldn't be like a rich girl and a dorky guy that doesn't have sex. It would be she's a geek as well because she owns a gaming company. So it's not like they're totally opposite. And also, I think it would be better if it was two girls.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody saying to somebody else, "I'm in control." I think it's not sexy anyway.
Yeah, two girls
not
would have
sexy.
been great.
Two
'Cause
girls
then
would have been great.
it would have spun the whole like rich guy like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
like
true.
whatever.
Yeah.
It would have been hotter too.
And also,
Also-
pretty much everyone in that. I mean, I think it would be an interesting, also different twist of being a lesbian virgin.
That's really.
They're like hetero, but she decides that she wants to try something else. Oh my god, she's getting another dick pic. You
I'm
guys.
not drunk.
That's my
I'm
baby's
relaxed.
screaming. I'll be right back. Okay, my baby's
Okay.
screaming.
Go.
I like how she has phone notifications for when her baby.
Does her baby just have her own phone? Does she just call him? She's like,
Wouldn't it be great if her baby is so advanced that she basically like texts her and says, "Okay, I need to be fed right now."
I would believe
No,
it.
I need a boob.
I would
Yeah.
believe it.
I
Yeah.
feel like that's the thing. Veronica, you look so cash.
I told you this is I'm very comfortable.
Yeah, I know.
You look so
I know.
relaxed.
No, I bet this is War Peacock says, "Mom, I'm unhappy." I prefer it was like, "Hello, mother. I am dissatisfied with my current comfort level. Please attend to me post haste."
Oh my god! If I had like a cell phone when I was a baby, I'd probably just block my parents right off the bat.
No, because you need them. You need them for food. You can't work. You can't work the doors, Bonnie.
Even Albert says, "New baby monitor. Who dis?" That's the funniest shit I've ever read in a really long time.
Baby texted her the same exact message as the dick pic guy.
Oh God,
Are you ready?
this is a strong, stout chat room. Right.
I know. I don't think I've ever seen you this intoxicated before.
I'm not. No, you're confusing.
Yeah.
I've definitely been much more drunk. I'm not drunk right now. I'm relaxed.
Yeah.
I'm sitting in a comfortable position. I moved here because the light gave out over there, and I just needed better light.
No, you look great. Like,
Yeah,
I'm honestly, like, you should be in an indie film right now. Like, I feel like I'm giving some sort of really bad, overly lit, real world confessional. And
Maybe it's because I feel like a different person because I'm in a different place.
That's probably
know.
it.
Cool.
You need to use all the different areas of the hotel room or whatever.
It's an air bun.
Oh, you're in an air
I'm
bun.
not slumping more and more. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Veronica, you're gonna be on the floor.
Veronica looks like one of those narrators from Drunk History that gets
Yes.
drunker and just eventually tells the story from the floor.
That's my favorite. My favorite one was where the guy actually just totally passed out, and so the host guy had to finish it.
Yeah,
That is like my favorite show. I feel like we'd all be so good at that show. Like if
Me
you would just
too.
let us on that show.
I'm trying to get like
Just
more.
let us on the show.
I'm trying to get more of my friends on the show, so I've been trying to get like Felicia and Will on the show. Jason Ritter's on like every episode.
I know those people are very funny. We're kind of like a bigger deal than some of those comedians, right? Like we could definitely be on that show.
I feel like we could, and I think I would do a really good job of getting drunk and telling history because I do it constantly to Jesse.
I know. I do
about royal history.
It's true.
moments in history that I can repeat like on as many drugs and alcohol you can give me, and I'd still like tell you 100% with 100% accuracy with a lot of slurring. But I'd still be very like, what would be your drunk history story?
Oh God.
Oh, mine would be the War of the Roses, definitely.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
What
I
if
think
they
of
let
what my
us
favorite
do-
time in history would
What
be.
if they let us do like drunk fictional history, and you could like explain like the Battle of the Bastards or something from?
Oh, that would be fun.
Mhm.
That'd be fun. But there's so much good real history.
Yeah, there is.
Well, that's why I like drunk history, because they actually tell you a lot of stuff that you don't normally know.
Right.
Like the Rosa Parks one about the teenage girl that actually did all that stuff on the bus before Rosa Parks. And then the NAACP chose Rosa Parks because she was an adult and they didn't want a teenager to be the voice of that protest. And it was like this whole thing. I had no idea.
It's
But
really
Also
interesting.
the girl that like warned us about the British were coming before
Yes.
Paul Revere did.
Yeah, the girl
Oh,
that
really?
ran around. Yeah.
40
You know-
miles. Paul Revere only did 20. She did 40. And she was like this teenage girl. I'm like, why don't they teach this stuff in like high school instead of like the bullshit that's not even factually correct?
Because misogyny and racism.
But I want to know why D. Murphy in the chat room doesn't enjoy drunk history. 'Cause
Yeah,
he's
why?
like the first person I've ever met that doesn't like that show.
Well, I know some people think it's fake. Some people think that the people drinking are fake, but I can guarantee you I'm
No,
friends.
I can guarantee as well.
Oh,
that
they're drinking.
real.
Yeah.
There's
I
real puking.
I think my favorite is Pageant Brewster when she
Oh, yeah.
because she's so I think she did the one about the inventor of the bra.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
And Jenny Slate was really funny.
Oh, yeah.
Jenny
And,
Slate is also really good.
yeah.
I like Natasha.
Wait,
Yeah, Leggero.
Leggero, yeah.
I'm always shocked at how well they know their history. Like Jenny Slate knows her NASA history inside and out.
Well, I mean, I'm sure they have notes, like, so
they
they.
do. I don't think they do.
I think they do.
Do you?
No, I don't think they do. I don't
You
think they
don't?
have notes. No. I think they really do know the story, and they've probably like gone through it a few times, and then they
So it's
just try to retell it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think he's there to like,
Kind of push them forward,
yeah,
like
push them
remind
forward.
them where they were, and then, yeah.
I mean, you also have to remember a lot of these comedians. There's no comedians, like there's no college degree in comedian. So I bet you a lot of these comedians were history majors.
For English
Maybe.
majors.
Sorry about that.
When you
We're
watch,
talking about drunk history.
Yeah.
Oh, I have
Which-
not seen it. I mean, I've seen
speaking-
the online things. But
Speaking of babies and drug history, when I was terrified, like when Shepard was only a month old, and Jesse had to go out driving for Uber and Lyft, had to make extra money, and so I was alone. I think it was New Year's Eve, and so I was alone, and I was just laying on the couch, and I'm like, I think a little high on Percocet still, and started taking it, and drinking a little bit, and we're both just sleeping. We got pillows all over the floor just in case, right in front of, and we're both just sleeping, and we keep falling into really weird positions and just holding him, and then he's like on first he's over here, and then he's like on my head, and then that was it. I just kept waking up every kind of half an hour, and just really enjoying drunk history and feeling really like a sense of sleepy bee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
my favorite show.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like our show is kind of like drunk history. It's just drunk romance book history.
Yeah.
Book history.
Okay. Before we wrap up, thank you for your patience.
Is she okay?
She's fine. She just wakes up like 5 or 6 times. I don't know what happened. She's like 6 months. She wakes up like 2 hours after she goes, like, I put her to bed at 7:30. She'll always wake up at 9 and cry. Yeah. And then she'll wake up at like 1:30 and 4:30 and 6. And people are like, you need to sleep train her. And I totally respect people who sleep train their babies. I know that scientifically it's fine. There's no way I'm going to let my baby cry. I just can't do it. It's not in me. So
Did she call you? What happened?
I know we were impressed by the texting. Like, she already knows how to text you?
Yeah. Oh, no, I got a call. Yeah, no, I have it hooked to my phone that she cries. No, I'm just kidding. There is somebody in the house with a baby. Okay, so we had 3 great questions that I want to do quickly about losing the virginity.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Okay. What would be on your... Okay, so what amount would you start the bidding at if you auction your virginity? And what would be the minimum you would accept, says Stacy. Okay, these are good questions, you guys.
Again.
I would go 1 million. 1 million. Oh, I would start at 500,000. I would minimum. It would be like eBay 500,000, but minimum buy now at 1 million.
This is quintessential women undervaluing themselves.
Yeah, that's low.
That's low. That is low.
You can't even buy a shed for $1 million in California.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so basically, it wouldn't give you real estate. Okay, 2 million.
5 million.
Wow.
No, I'd go even higher.
10 million.
Higher.
25 million.
Higher. Do you know how many tech millionaires there are in this country? Go high.
100 million.
Wow.
There you go.
Okay.
$100 million. $100 million.
That a girl.
Okay.
I guess I'd do 100 million if, I was like in my best shape, not like post baby. I know it's been 2 years.
There's somebody for everyone. That number going up. There's a lot of billionaires in this world.
It's true. There are a lot of billionaires now, and they live very different lives than the rest of us.
Yeah, Kyla, as is, you're hot. Don't even go there. You don't have to do any, there's no work you need to get done. Just as is.
You can all keep telling me I'm pretty because I need to hear
it. As is. Like, I'm not even in the same rank as you guys. I would go 100 million for a dude, 50 million for a girl.
Oh, you'd have half price for a girl?
Yeah, because honestly, I think they're probably going to be less creepy.
Oh, you mean? Right. Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
I know that's. Hold on. Jeff in Myrtle Beach videos, which what even does that mean? Says, "Oh my God, be careful! This will be on Google forever." That ship has sailed.
Oh yeah,
that ship has sailed. This is all hypothetical. This is like, come on.
I've honestly not been a virgin longer than the last guy I dated.
Okay. All right. Next question. Marina asked. Oh wait. Okay. Matthew asked. Given Mia's initial list of countries for the encounter, which destination would you choose? I forget that. I forget what the list was. Do you guys remember? But I would pick like Thailand because that was my favorite vacation of all times, and it has to be legal there because a woman asked me to buy her, and I was like, I don't feel comfortable.
Amsterdam, maybe. I mean, are you talking about all the places where prostitution's legal?
Yeah, where would you want to lose your virginity? For
me, it's Amsterdam, without a doubt. Just because it's like they have healthcare, they have perfect national healthcare for free. They've got a good proportion of rich people, suburbanites, and hippies. Mm-hmm. Their drug laws are totally great. Their sex laws are totally great, and it's a beautiful city. So
that's a good one. I would do Thailand. I would like PP Island because that sounds appropriate. What about you guys, Veronica and Kyla?
I have no idea.
Come on,
is it legal in like
what country?
What about Iceland? Because I think it has to be somewhere cold.
I don't think Iceland prostitutes are a thing.
I don't know. I feel like if you're a prostitute in Iceland, you're pretty optimistic.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I saw a whole thing.
Everyone's so wrapped up in clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Like, there's no like, I don't know. I'm gonna investigate Iceland prostitutes just for you, Kyla.
okay,
Thank you.
But I mean, I don't know if you guys saw that whole thing about or read about the Amsterdam prostitutes or not. It's actually it's a whole scam. They're not happy. They're not well taken care of.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, prostitution isn't exactly the greatest career on earth, and human trafficking intersects it in such a way that it's hard to separate like human slavery and prostitution. There's no clean break there. There's too much overlap. So,
yeah, well, we're not really talking about prostitution as a career. You're not moving there to be.
Yeah.
You're just moving there. You're going to meet somebody, so you're legally losing your virginity.
But I'm sorry, I don't know all the places that are legal.
I don't either.
I'm really disappointed in you, Veronica.
I don't know.
Can I do it in Aix-en-Provence? Because that sounds good.
Okay. What's the pirate island? The unincorporated
Treasure Island?
No, the island where they did the
Misfit Toys?
no.
Oh, I know what Veronica's talking about. It's an island where you could do anything, pretty much.
It's like that's where all like the internet like
Yeah.
stuff happens.
It's like Barren Islands?
It's
Tortuga.
It's not I'm not thinking of Tortuga. I'm thinking of like the old oil rig that they turned into like
I know
It's like a dark web.
it's not Sealand.
That's it.
Yes!
Sealand.
And all the internet cables are underneath.
Yeah, I'll go to Sealand.
Down and underneath, yeah.
Sealand.
The people there are
SeaWorld?
probably real desperate because it's
Yeah.
like, way out there.
Yeah. You could probably get a lot of discount stuff.
Yeah, Sealand.
But that's if you wanted it to be your trade. If you just wanted it to be nice, where would you want to go?
Yeah, you want to be nice. You want a nice view. You want to have a good meal and a clean shower.
And a nice bed, a really
I like
nice,
the sea.
clean white
All right.
bed.
Our last question before we wrap it up is Maria asked, what would be on your list of things that are a no-go if you had a contract to sell your virginity, or things that are a must? Because Mia in there was like no blowjobs. Like that was a no, which seemed odd if you're
she had a trigger thing with that.
she had a trigger thing, so that makes sense. But initially you're just like, that's a weird proviso. So
because that seems like part of the appetizer a la carte menu, but
totally. So that's her thing. So what would I'm going to go in great detail. I would insist upon a shower, a background check, and some manscaping.
Really?
okay, yeah, I don't
Wait,
want
manscaping down there, or just like on the back?
Everywhere.
like basically you don't want to have sex with Chewbacca, is what you're saying.
I mean, I just want something to be very clean and kept. Like it doesn't need to be like not hairy. They just need to be clean and kept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clean and kept.
Because
See, I'm thinking what sexual acts I wouldn't do.
Oh well, I mean all of that.
Like
yeah, I wouldn't do any of that, but they have to look like
That's a given. I'm just talking about showering.
Yeah, showering's kind of up there.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of eccentric millionaires that I bet showering isn't their number one.
I can think of at least one.
Oh no, we do. Are we thinking about this? No. Okay.
What?
I'm just like,
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me it would be a checklist of things I'm not gonna do. Like I'm not gonna do like ATM. I'm not gonna do like weird.
What's an ATM?
Ian says no touching.
No touching.
I love that interrupted Bonnie explaining what ATM was.
No, I mean, you can look up ATM. I mean, it's ass to mouth. It's like, yeah.
That is a no. That is no.
I'm not going to do like sitting on a glass table thing. I don't.
No.
I mean, I'm with you, Felicia. I want it to be hygienic. I don't want there to be a lot of miscellaneous fluids. And
I would only want one virginity lost that night. I wouldn't want the other one
All of
lost
them?
as well.
I wouldn't want every single kink virgin thing that's like checklist.
You get an orify and that's it.
Nah, I'd be fine with oral sex and regular, well, not regular, but
like
vaginal penetration.
Cool.
But no butt stuff for the first time. I just think it's, you really got to work up to that.
Yeah, like I'm thinking more like Lifetime movie sex stuff and maybe some Stars and Cinemax stuff. But
Like late night, maybe a little.
The chat is so good right now.
The chat is really funny. You guys are on fire.
Right now.
El Fuego.
Fire.
Yeah, like nothing like too weird, like no Burning Man sideshow stuff and no like red tube off the wall stuff. Like I
I know what you're talking
No,
about.
Jack Johnson.
No.
Yeah. And also I don't mind if we bring in like implements. like vibrators and stuff, but I don't need like a whole circus. Like I don't need the whole Ringling and Burnham Bailey circus. Like I don't need that.
I don't
Oh
think
God,
I
I
need
can't. Never mind. I'm not going to say this. I just wanted to say the funniest thing about losing.
Say it.
The funniest thing about losing my virginity was that I rollerbladed home after.
But did you have rollerblades on when you were having sex?
I just remembered that.
Oh my God, Veronica. But you didn't have the rollerblades on during sex, did you? Because that's a whole thing.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, you know.
Oh God.
You're so baller.
That can go on Google. That's fine.
That's
You're so
cool.
baller.
Mine was just that I wasn't. I was afraid we hadn't actually like broken it because
Oh, right.
we had to stop because I was crying so hard.
Oh God.
Oh.
But then I ran into the bathroom and looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, I'm a woman. I actually
Did you
had
really? Oh, that's so
Really?
sweet.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then it did work. I was not.
Oh.
I'm so sweet.
Aw.
I was scared though. I was like, I'm not going through that again. I'm not doing that again.
That's not what you want to pay a lot of money for. You just make somebody just weep. Like,
Yeah.
hey.
I mean, luckily you could just, you only have to go through it once. It's just, but as we said earlier, there's different levels of being a virgin for different types of
Well,
things.
this is the problem. There's so much like attention and like drama placed on losing your virginity that to me just feels so fucking phony and
Yeah.
lame and precious.
Yeah.
It's like it's just
It's
like
just a
this
way
kind
to
of stuff.
scare
Like
teenagers not to have sex so early, isn't it? I mean, it should be. That's the only real.
In a way, yeah, but like the funny thing is like losing my regular virginity was nothing compared to losing my virginity when I was with a girl for the first time, or losing my virginity when some dude asked me to wear a strap-on dildo and I didn't know what to do and I thought it was hilarious because I was like, why do you even need me? Why don't you get like your best friend dude to have sex with you? But that was what he was into, and I just remember, why isn't this covered in healthcare, like in health class, of you're a girl and you've just been used to normal sex and
They don't even cover actual sex in health.
Yeah, they should cover pegging.
Yeah.
There should be a whole thing on, okay, so you've been asked so you have to do pegging now. What does that mean? Like, you shouldn't have to learn about it on Broad City in your 40s. Like, you should actually...
I have a friend who's doing a startup that's like a video platform for people talking frankly about sex, and it's like geared towards women. It's called O School. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think it's going to be really good for like demystifying a lot of this stuff and being a safe kind of
Well,
private.
I mean, luckily the internet also demystifies quite a bit. But when I was in my 20s, all we had was Usenet, and Usenet
It's not reliable.
No, it was like the Well. It was like Prodigy, bulletin board system. Like you're not going to learn what you need to know, and also there's not women talking to other women in a frank, safe way about sex where you don't feel like you're going to be propositioned at the end of the discussion. So, anyway.
Okay. Well, anyway, we're way over. We had a really nice night, you guys. Clearly, we, in varying levels, enjoyed this book. I would actually pick up another book because I feel like the author this was one of her earlier books, and I feel like I always like to read an author like 3 or 4 books later because their craft has gotten so much better. And I did enjoy her writing, even though there were problematic things with some of the characters. But I would read another book by her, and it's free. So if you want to pick it up, do it. If not, don't do it. And you're going to pick up.
I might just do the last book. Like, I might just skip all
I might do the one with the wedding, but I want to read it as a brother. I liked him. Anyway, so next month is Bonnie Burton's pick. Bonnie, why don't you tell the group what our pick is?
So I basically came up with 3 different book ideas, and the book that we settled on was actually a book that Veronica suggested months ago. And
Years ago. It was like 2 years ago.
Oh my God.
And I really wanted a book with space alien sex, because I haven't had alien sex in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I suggested this book, and then Felicia's like, oh my God, I told Veronica no on this years ago.
I remember that too, yeah.
I know, and it was. I apologize to you because the book I forced you to pick, you were not happy with.
What's the name of the book again?
It's called The Last Hour of Gan, and actually, we gave it a shout out, and there was a really long thread on a bunch of people who read the book afterwards. And I will just say that if you have any triggers about slavery or rape. There are a lot of very disturbing scenes in this book that are very problematic and disturbing. But that said, if you skip over it, which I did, I skipped over every single thing in that. It's a really well written book, and it's very, very widely regarded. And the people on the forum really enjoyed it when they read it. So I was like, Ronnie,
there's sex scenes that aren't rapey, right? Like
it's lizard sex, but
we all like lizard sex.
I knew there was a reason I wanted to read this.
It's really well written and it's really fascinating. I really had a hard time stomaching some of the scenes. So just if you have any trigger warnings in that area or you feel uncomfortable, there's an amazing Sean Sanda Looky Look arranges an alt every month, which is Gail Carriger. And the reread is also a Gail Carriger. So there's plenty of people who can read along with you if those two issues are problematic.
I'll read the new Gail Carriger with other people too, because I love her books. So I think Kyla, you like her books too, right?
Yeah, I think I've already read it. I read it.
Oh, did you? Okay. I know a new book just came out a couple months ago, so I don't know if it was that one or not. So
yeah. Anyway, okay, so we'll see you. Now we're going to be hanging out on 9/5, September 5th. That would be our next hangout. And go to the forums, goodreads.com/vaginalfantasy to join in, maybe even join in a local group to discuss a romance book of your choice or create one of your own. Thank you to the mods for keeping the chat awesome. And again, thank you, Sean, because we wouldn't be able to have the hangout without you. So thank you for
Sean.
that. Check out his book.
Oh, and I'll be in my new fancy historical home.
Woo! Kyla's moving.
Yes, to a historical home that William Taft gave a speech out of one of the windows, and
Very exciting.
And the Bob Crosby lived there or something. I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, okay.
And
All right, awesome.
maybe like the next time you see me, there'll be less stuff because I'm reading the life-changing manga book of tidying up.
Oh, there's a manga version of that.
It's to teach you like to only keep stuff that matters to you instead of just covering your apartment with crap. So I'm trying to be less hoardy. So we'll see. It'll either be less stuff or it'll just be me crying in front of more stuff. So we'll see.
Yeah,
sound good.
Anyway, okay. Well, see you guys next month. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.